They don't see it, do they? The war raging inside of you, the silent battles, the nights where sleep is a stranger and your mind is a battlefield. You walk among them, a shadow slipping through the cracks of a world that doesn't seem to care whether you rise or fall. You speak, but your words dissolve into the wind, unheard, unnoticed. You try, but your efforts are swallowed by a void that gives nothing back. The weight of it all presses down on you, so heavy, so relentless, like an ocean that refuses to let you breathe. They told you life would be hard, but they never told you it would feel like this. They never warned you that failure wouldn't just knock at your door. It would break it down, make itself at home, and whisper in your ear that you will never be enough. That no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you fight, you will always come up short. You feel it, don't you? That slow, creeping doubt that wraps around your soul, tightening its grip with every setback, every loss, every moment where you wonder if you're the problem. You've watched them walk away, the ones who swore they'd stand by you, the ones who smiled in your face but left when you needed them most. You learned the hard way that loyalty is rare, and that words mean nothing when tested by fire. The betrayals, they cut deeper than any wound. The rejection, it echoes louder than any applause you never received. You gave them everything, your trust, your time, your heart, and in return, they left you empty, abandoned, like an afterthought, like you were nothing. And maybe that's the part that haunts you the most, the feeling of being unseen, like you could disappear today, and the world would keep moving as if you were never here. You scream into the void, but the void does not answer. You stand in a room full of people and feel like a ghost. You try to prove yourself, to show them you matter, but the more you push, the more they ignore you. It's like you're fighting against an invisible wall, one that keeps you locked out of the life you're desperate to claim. You weren't always like this. There was a time when you believed in yourself, a time when you thought the world had a place for you, that if you just worked hard enough, if you just did everything right, it would all pay off. But life has a way of stripping you down, breaking you apart piece by piece until all that remains is a hollow shell of the person you once were. Now you question your worth. Now you wonder if maybe they were right about you all along. Maybe you were never meant to rise. Maybe you were meant to fade. But listen to me. Listen closely, because I need you to understand something before you let this darkness consume you. You are not finished. This is not the end of your story. I know the weight you carry. I know the voices that haunt you. I know what it feels like to be drowning in silence, to scream and hear nothing but the echo of your own pain. But I also know this. There is a fire inside of you. It may be buried beneath the ashes of your failure, but it is there. And if you can still feel that ache, if you can still hear that whisper in the back of your mind, telling you that you were meant for more, then you are not done. They tried to break you. They tried to erase you. But what they didn't realize is that some people are not meant to be erased. Some people are meant to rise from the ruins. Some people are meant to take the very pain that was supposed to destroy them and turn it into the very thing that makes them unstoppable. And you are one of them. So let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them laugh, because soon they will see. Soon they will understand exactly who you are. And when that day comes, the weight of every failure, every betrayal, every moment of being unseen will not hold you down. It will be the very thing that lifts you higher than they ever imagined. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. They watched you struggle, and they smiled. They whispered behind your back, voices dripping with doubt, their words laced with the venom of low expectation. They won't make it. They don't have what it takes. Just watch. They'll fail, just like the rest. They threw those words like daggers, hoping one of them would cut deep enough to make you stop, to make you believe them. And for a while, maybe you did. Maybe you let those words sink into your bone, planting themselves like seeds of doubt, growing into shadows that wrapped around your mind. They never wanted you to rise. Not really. They only pretended to clap when you tried. But behind the forced smiles and empty encouragements, they were waiting for you to fall, waiting for you to crack under the pressure. Every misstep, every setback, every moment of hesitation, they collected them like trophy, proof that they were right about you all along. And when you stumbled, they laughed. Oh, they laughed. Not always out loud. Sometimes it was just a look, a smirk, a glance exchanged between them, as if your failure was nothing more than entertainment. Other times, it was crueler, more direct. They pointed, they mocked. They reminded you of every time you came up short, told you so, knew it was only a matter of time. Guess you're not as strong as you thought. But here's the truth they won't tell you. Their laughter was never about you. It was about them. They needed you to fail because if you succeeded, it would force them to confront their own mediocrity. It would force them to ask themselves why they never tried, why they never pushed harder, why they settled for less. So instead of rising, instead of becoming more, they made a sport out of tearing others down. It was easier that way, safer, and maybe the part that hurts the most isn't the strangers who doubted you. It's the ones who were supposed to believe in you, the ones who were supposed to stand beside you when the world turned against you, the so-called friends who suddenly disappeared when things got hard, the family members who never once said, "I believe in you," the people who claimed to love you. But when the moment came to choose between standing by your side or walking away, they chose the latter. You trusted them. You let them see parts of you that no one else did. And in the end, they turned their backs on you. They left you in the dark, alone, broken, wondering why you were never enough for them to stay. And the worst part? They didn't just leave. They doubted you. They became part of the chorus, adding their voices to the noise, saying you'd never make it. And the world, it wasn't built for you. It wasn't designed to lift you up, to give you a fair chance. No, it was built to break you, to keep you in your place, to make sure you stay small. From the moment you dared to dream, dared to want something bigger, dared to believe that you could be more, it's been working against you. The doors slammed shut before you could even knock. The rules written in a way that ensured you were always behind. The system set up so that people like you, people who refuse to conform, refuse to settle, refuse to be just another cog in the machine, are crushed before they ever get the chance to rise. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still fighting. They wanted you broken. They wanted you defeated. They wanted you to believe that you were powerless. But you are still here. And if you are still here, then you are not done. You are not finished. You are not beaten. They laughed at you. Let them use their words like weapons. Let them mock you, doubt you, turn their backs. Because one day, those same voices will go silent. One day, the laughter will stop. One day they will see what they tried so hard not to see, that you were never meant to stay small, that every scar they left on you only made you stronger, that every obstacle they placed in your way only sharpened your hunger, that every time they told you, you can, you turned it into another reason why you must. And when that day comes, when you stand in the place they swore you'd never reach, you won't need revenge. You won't need to say, "I told you so." Your success will be the only answer, and they will have to live with the fact that they never saw it coming. There was a night, maybe you remember it, a moment so heavy, so dark, it felt like the world had swallowed you whole. The kind of night where silence wasn't peaceful, it was deafening, where the weight of everything you've been carrying pressed down so hard, you wondered if you would ever stand again. You sat there staring into nothing, feeling everything all at once, the exhaustion, the doubt, the endless battle you fought day after day, wondering if any of it was worth it. And for the first time, you asked yourself the question you never wanted to ask. What if I just stop? What if I just walk away? What if I quit? And maybe for a moment, quitting didn't sound like weakness. It sounded like relief. like finally setting down the weight that had been crushing you for so long, like finally surrendering to the exhaustion that had seeped into your bone. You weren't even sure when it started. Maybe it was after the 100th rejection. Maybe it was after another failure, another betrayal, another dream slipping through your fingers like sand. Or maybe it wasn't one big thing at all. Maybe it was the slow, steady erosion of your spirit, chipped away piece by piece, until you didn't recognize yourself anymore. Because that's the part they don't talk about. They don't tell you that sometimes the pain isn't loud. It's quiet. It's not the storms that break you. It's the endless gray, the feeling of waking up and realizing you don't care anymore, that nothing excites you, that the fire inside you, the one that used to burn so brightly, is nothing more than dying embers. You tried. God, you tried. You pushed. You fought. You gave everything you had. And yet here you were, stuck, lost, empty. And that voice, the one that used to tell you to keep going, was barely a whisper now. Maybe I should let it go. Maybe this dream isn't for me. Maybe they were right. And then the suffocation came. That slow, creeping feeling that nothing would ever change. That you would always be stuck in this loop of trying and failing. That no matter how much you fought, life would always find a way to push you back down. Even breathing felt like a battle. Every step felt like dragging dead weight. Maybe you even thought about disappearing. Maybe the idea crossed your mind, not in a dramatic way, not as a final decision, but as a fleeting thought, a whisper. What if I just disappeared? Would anyone even notice? And the fact that the thought even existed in your mind terrified you. Because you were never that person. You were the fighter, the one who never backed down. And yet here you were, staring into the abyss, feeling it staring right back at you. But here's the thing about moments like this. They feel endless when you're in them. They feel like they will swallow you whole, like there's no way out. But they are just that, a moment, a chapter, not the ending, not the final page. Because even in that darkness, even when you were at your lowest, something inside of you refused to break completely. You're still here. You're still breathing. Maybe you don't know why yet. Maybe you don't have the answers. But the fact that you're here means something. It means the battle isn't over. It means you have unfinished business in this world. It means that no matter how much the pain tried to drown you, you did not let it win. So hear me when I say this, that moment where you almost gave up. One day, it will be the reason you never do again. One day, you will look back at that night, at that version of you sitting in the dark, and you will whisper, "Thank you for holding on." Because the future you, the one who made it through, owes everything to the you that refused to quit. And when that day comes, you'll realize something. You weren't at the end. You were at the turning point. Even in your darkest moments, there was something inside you that refused to die. A spark, small, fragile, barely a flicker, but still there. When everything around you told you to let go, to surrender, that spark whispered, "Not yet." It was quiet, almost drowned out by the weight of your doubt, the exhaustion of carrying your failures, the echoes of every voice that ever told you, "You're not enough." But it didn't disappear, because deep down, something inside you knew the truth, that this moment of weakness, this moment of breaking, was not the end. It was a test, a crucible, a fire designed not to destroy you, but to forge. And then the realization hit, like a slap to the face, like cold water shocking you back to life. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to pull you out of the darkness. No one is coming to hand you the life you've been dreaming of. No one is coming to fight your battles, to silence your doubts, to pick you up off the ground. It's you. It has always been you. The world doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care how unfair your circumstances have been. It doesn't care about the pain you've endured, the betrayals you've suffered, the nights you've spent crying in silence. It will keep moving, indifferent to whether you rise or fall. And that truth, it burns. It's brutal, but it is also your greatest weapon. Because once you understand that no one is coming to save you, you realize something even more powerful. You don't need them to. The power has been inside you all along. The strength, the resilience, the fire. It's been there, buried beneath the pain, suffocated by doubt but still alive, still waiting for the moment you decide to use it. And then something shifts. The sadness, the hopelessness, the despair. It turns into something else, something sharper, something stronger. Anger. Not the kind of anger that destroys without purpose, not the kind that poisons you from the inside. No, this anger is different. This anger is fuel. This is the anger that makes you stand up when you have nothing left. The anger that wipes your tears and clenches your fists. The anger that looks at every single person who doubted you. Every single time you were overlooked, underestimated, discarded, and says, "Watch me." It is the anger of a warrior who has been beaten down but refuses to stay down. The anger of someone who has been told no too many times and decides that no is no longer an option. The anger that turns into focus, into determination, into an unstoppable force that refuses to be denied. This is the moment you stop waiting. This is the moment you stop begging for a chance, for permission, for someone to see your worth. You already know your worth. And if the world refuses to give you a seat at the table, you build your own, the fire inside you. It was never gone. It was waiting for this moment, waiting for you to stop seeking approval, to stop craving validation, to stop asking the world for a chance. Now you take it. Getting up after being knocked down is not just resilience. It is an act of war. They thought you were finished. They thought the weight of your failures, your pain, your struggles would bury you. They mistook your silence for surrender. But what they didn't see, what they couldn't see, was the war raging inside you. The battle between who you once were and who you are becoming. Because every time life crushed you, every time you hit the ground, something inside you refused to stay down. The world expected you to break, but instead, you make harden. Your pain is not your weakness, it is your weapon. Every hardship, every betrayal, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, it was never meant to stop you. It was meant to sharpen you, to shape you into someone who does not crumble under pressure, but rises because of it. Look at your scars, not just the ones on your body, but the invisible one, the wounds on your soul, the fractures in your heart. They are proof that you survived. Proof that what was meant to destroy you failed. You have been tested in fire, and you are still here. That means something. That means you are not meant for an ordinary life, because those who are chosen for greatness are forged in suffering. They are built in the moments where everything is telling them to give up, and they whisper back, "Not today." And maybe the world sees your struggle and calls it weakness. Maybe they look at your scars and see damage, but they do not understand what you have become. They do not see the warrior that was created in the wreckage. They do not realize that every fall, every failure, every dark night, it was all training. Training for the moment you would rise. And now, that moment is here. You are not weak. You are rising, stronger than the ones who never had to fight, sharper than those who never knew pain. Built from the kind of suffering that would have destroyed anyone else. The world tried to break you, but instead, it built something unstoppable. It built you. There comes a moment when you can no longer stand in the middle. No more hesitation, no more second guessing, no more waiting for a sign, a break, a miracle. This is that moment, the line in the sand, the choice that will define you. Will you accept defeat? Let the world dictate your limits. Let the voices of doubt win. Will you let the weight of your past bury you? Let the pain steal your future? Will you lie down, exhausted, and whisper, "Maybe they were right about me"? Or will you fight, not just for survival, not just to prove them wrong, but for yukum, for the fire inside you that refuses to die, for the life you were meant to live, for every version of yourself that suffered, that cried, that almost gave up, but one didn't. This is the moment you make a promise, a vow written not in words but in garam action. I will never bow again, Not to fear, not to doubt, not to the voices that said you couldn't, not to the chains that tried to hold you back. You will not shrink yourself to fit into the small world they designed for you. You will not apologize for wanting more. You will not stay silent so others feel comfortable with your potential. You were not born to kneel. You were born to conquer. And as that realization sinks in, something shifts, something awakens. The warrior inside you, the one they tried to bury, the one they thought was dead, rises. It does not crawl. It does not ask permission. It stands. It sharpens its sword. It prepares for battle. Because this is not just about winning. This is about becoming the person they never saw coming, the force they cannot ignore, the legend they will tell stories about. The world tried to push you down. Now you're taking over. Pain is not the end of you. It is the beginning. They don't tell you this, but the fire that tried to destroy you is the same fire that will build you. Every scar, every wound, every betrayal, these are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you have been forged. Because pain is a forge, and you are the steel. You have been tested, hammered, beaten down, thrown into the flames of failure over and over again. But steel does not break under fire. It becomes stronger. The heat does not destroy it. It refines it. And that's exactly what has been happening to you. Every rejection that crushed you, it was making you sharper. Every failure that made you question yourself, it was preparing you for something greater. Every night you cried in frustration, in anger, in exhaustion, that was your training. This world does not give crowns to the weak. It does not hand out victories to those who sit and wait for them. No, this world respects only those who take what is theirs, those who have been through the fire and came out unbreakable. And now, the hunger grows, the hunger to rise, to prove to yourself, not to them, not to the doubters, not to the ones who left, but to yourself, that you are not who they said you were, that you are something greater. You feel it, don't you? That drive in your chest, that fire in your gut, that unstoppable force waking up inside of you. The hunger to dominate, to step into your power, to take every ounce of pain, every moment of suffering and turn it into fuel. They thought they were breaking you, but they were building a monster. A warrior with nothing left to lose, nothing left to fear, nothing left to prove, except to themselves. The fire did not consume you. It transformed you. No more waiting, no more hesitation, no more standing at the edge of your potential, wondering if you're ready. The time for doubt is gone. The chase begins now. You are done asking for permission, done waiting for someone to recognize your worth, to open the door, to hand you a seat at the table. You are no longer seeking approval. You are taking control. Because here's the truth. You owe no one an explanation. Not for your ambition, not for your hunger, not for the way you refuse to fit inside the box they built for you. They will call you obsessed. They will say you have changed, and they will be right. Because the old you, the one who hesitated, who waited, who feared stepping into their power, is gone. What remains is something unshakable. This is no longer just about success. This is about domination. This is about becoming the kind of person who cannot be ignored. The kind of person who walks into a room and commands it, not because they seek attention, but because their presence demands it. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your dream. You stop shrinking so that others feel comfortable. The time for playing small is over. The chase has begun. You wake up with fire in your veins. You move with purpose, with focus, with an intensity that shakes the ground beneath you. There's no hesitation, no second guessing, only action, only forward motion. And with every step, you become something they never expected, unbreakable. Fear ruled you once. It whispered in your ear, held you back, made you doubt yourself. It convinced you that you were not enough, that you should stay small, that you may stay afraid. But that version of you is dead. Fear no longer owns you. It does not control you. It does not have power over you anymore. You have taken that fear, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough, and turned it into fuel. You no longer run from fear, you run toward it. Because fear is no longer a chain around your neck. It is a weapon in your hand. Every doubt, every hesitation, every moment you once spent paralyzed by uncertainty has now been transformed into relentless energy. The fear that once held you back now drives you forward. And now, the ones who once mocked you, they are watching. They laughed when you struggled. They whispered behind your back when you failed. They dismissed you, overlooked you, underestimated you. But now, they feel it. The shift, the power, the rise. They thought you would stay in the dirt. They thought you would break under the pressure. But they were wrong. And now, as you rise, they are afraid because they see what is happening. They see the force you are becoming. They see that the person they doubted is no longer the same. And now, they have no choice but to watch you take over. The fire that once burned you now builds you. The struggles that once broke you now sharpen you. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback, they no longer weaken you. They forge you. You do not flinch. You do not waver. You do not hesitate, because you have already suffered. You have already faced the worst, endured the pain, walked through hell, and you are still here. So now, what could possibly stop you? Nothing, because something inside you has shifted. You are no longer the person who fears adversity. You embrace it. You are no longer the one who runs from difficulty. You crave it. Because you know that every hardship is just another sharpening stone, another test that will only make you stronger. This is the moment you become inevitable. There is no force that can break you now, no rejection that can deter you, no failure that can shake you, because you have learned the truth. Nothing and no one can stop the person who refuses to quit, and that person is you. You have walked through the fire and emerged unstoppable. The pain did not consume you. The struggle did not defeat you. You did not just survive. You transcended. You are no longer hoping for success, no longer wishing, waiting, or wanting. You are taking it, because this world belongs to those who refuse to bow, those who refuse to break, those who look at adversity and say, "Is that all you've got?" You have become that person, and now nothing can stand in your way. The world once ignored you. They looked past you like you didn't exist. They laughed at your dreams, mocked your struggles, and dismissed your ambition. But look at them now, the same ones who once doubted you. Now they whisper your name, the same voices that told you it was impossible. Now they watch in silence, in awe, in fear, because the tables have turned. You were once the underdog, the forgotten one, the outsider. But now you are the one they cannot ignore. They see your rise. They see the force you have become. And they don't know whether to admire you or to fear you, because they had never saw this coming. They thought you would fade away, that you would accept the limits they placed on you. But you didn't. You took control of your destiny. You refused to let their words define you. Refused to let their doubts become your reality. You rewrote the story. And now they are the ones afraid of what you will become, afraid of what they see in your eyes. Certainty that you are not stopping, certainty that you will win. There's no more waiting for recognition, no more seeking approval. You are here, and they can no longer ignore you. They thought they had buried you. They thought they had silenced you, crushed you, erased you, but they did not know. You were never meant to stay down, because you were not a failure. You were not forgotten. You were not defeated. You were a seed. And while they laughed, while they celebrated your losses, while they wrote you off as nothing more than a distant memory, you were growing in the darkness, in the silence, in the struggle. Every setback was your soil. Every rejection was your rain. Every moment of suffering was the sunlight that strengthened your roots. And now you have risen. You have become what they feared you would become: unbreakable, undeniable, unstoppable. They see it now. They see that every attempt to destroy you only made you stronger. They see that their words, their doubts, their betrayal, none of it worked. And the best part? You don't need revenge. You don't need to go back and prove anything to them. Their regret will be their own punishment, because they will spend the rest of their lives knowing that they had a front row seat to your suffering, and they underestimated you. They will live with the knowledge that they could have supported you, could have believed in you, could have stood beside you, but they didn't. And now they have no place in your kingdom, because the throne was always yours. It was never theirs to take. It was never theirs to control. You were destined for greatness long before they ever doubted you, and now you sit upon it, not because they allowed you to, but because that you took what was always meant for you. The battle was never just about proving them wrong. It was never just about rising from the ashes. It was about becoming someone who can never be broken again. And now you know the truth. The war is never over. There will always be new battles, new challenges, new enemies who doubt you, new obstacles meant to test you. But now, you are a warrior. You do not flinch at hardship. You do not back down when life dares to push against you, because you have been through the fire before, and you have come out sharpened, stronger, unstoppable. Strength is not about winning every battle. It is about never surrendering. It is about waking up every single day with the mindset of a soldier, knowing that there will always be struggles, but also knowing that nothing can shake you now, because you do not fear the fight. You embrace it. Every day, you sharpen your blade. Every day, you prepare for war, not against them, but against the part of you that ever thought of quitting, the part of you that ever questioned your own power. The war is never over, but now, neither are you. There was a time when you were lost, a time when you were broken, drowning in doubt, teetering on the edge of giving up. You know that pain, you know that darkness, but you made it through, and now it's your turn to lead.